Welcome back to my channel. I'm James, and this channel is all about movies and TV series from all over the world, as you can see behind me. And today I've got something really special for all of you. I'm going to be doing an exclusive review on my YouTube channel here of the NeverEnding story on 4K Ultra HD. And this is a release I've talked about on numerous videos before this, talking about that I was going to get this in, review it on the channel to get this out to all of you. And this is kind of what I'm known for as well on this channel, is a lot of special hidden boutique labels and hidden releases from all over the world. And that's why I talk about that I collect movies from all over the world. So as always, you're going to want to be subscribed to this channel so you don't miss out on any of these special releases. So this one's pretty unique. This one came out actually in Germany, and this is the only country that's released this. As of right now, Constantine Film has an exclusive right for this 4K Ultra HD. There's a lot of exciting things that we got to dive into this release here. So basically, this was released, obviously, like I said, in Germany. So with this release, I will have the Amazon link listed in the description section below. And the one thing I will point out about this, it goes in and out of availability, so it'll show in stock, out of stock. It's been doing that ever since I got this. So you just gotta keep checking back and forth to see if it comes back in stock, because when I ordered mine, it went out of stock right away. And then about a couple of days later, it was back in stock. Then it was out of stock for 3 days. It's been going in and out of stock because I think Constantine Film is a smaller boutique label in Germany. So they're not making tons and tons of these. So it's not available right when you watch this review. Just keep checking the link down in the description section below, and it'll come back in stock every once in a while. Now, diving into this set here, as you can see here, it comes in a 4K Ultra HD actual case, and it does say in German the title, which is The NeverEnding Story, but I'm not going to butcher it here in German. It does have a reversible cover. The only difference on the other side of the cover is it has a big green sticker here, which is actually the rating for the movie in Germany. So I put the one without the big green sticker on it just because I like it, but that's the only difference between the covers. Now, side, it does say 4K Ultra HD, Constantine Film, and then it obviously says in German the title. And then on the back here, it kind of goes into in German, talking about the movie, special features, and a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to get into here with you. Before we get into that, I want to show you the inside here. Inside, there's no slip or booklet. It literally has your 4K Ultra HD disc and your Blu Ray. And this is unique. Constantine Film did a restoration 4K remaster on Blu Ray earlier last year. This is that Blu Ray. So you get the full 4K restoration and remaster on Blu Ray, which is drastically better than the US release of the NeverEnding story that was ever released before. So even the Blu Ray in this is a huge upgrade. And I'll get this out of the way right away, because I know a lot of you watch my channel, especially in the US and other countries, to find out about if these are region free and you can import them and own them with no problems. This complete set is region free. So what that means is the Ultra HD disc is region free and the Blu Ray disc is region free. So whether you own a region free player or not, it doesn't matter with this set. You can get it for the Blu Ray restoration and remaster, as well as for the 4K, and then you're future proof. So like I talk about, if you don't have a 4K player right now, you can still buy this because it does have the 4K restoration on this Blu Ray, as well as on the 4K Ultra HD. So both of them look drastically better than the US releases that were on Blu Ray previously before this. Now, we're going to get into the specs on these discs, but I did want to make sure that you knew both discs are region free. So if you want to buy this set, both discs will play in any Blu Ray player you own, no issues whatsoever. I tried them in my Xbox, my PS5, my Xbox Series X, both my Panasonic UB820, my LG, it didn't matter what player I threw at them, they both played, no issues whatsoever there. Now, going a little bit more into this, most of you that are watching this probably remember watching this back in 1984 when this movie was released. This was released in theaters in 1984, and it had a couple of sequels after it. I never felt the sequels were nearly as good as the original, and I do enjoy the original. It had a lot of nostalgia factor before it. But I'm going to get this out of the way right away about some of the things that I didn't like about this release. Then we're going to get into the rest of the things I did like. I'm going to kind of mix in the difference between both of them. Now, this does not have the original music and theme song by Limahl. And that's the one thing I'd say about this release I was a little disappointed in, because the beginning opening of the credits doesn't have the flying through the clouds that it did in the US theatrical release. That's missing, and the actual like song that was by Lamal. And if you want to remember what it is, go look it up on YouTube, because it'll bring back a whole like warm fuzzy feeling like it did for me. And I was a little disappointed that wasn't in this, but in the German and international release, they didn't have that in it. That was released in the US. So there is a trade-off. In this set, you do get the massive upgrade that I'm going to go through of what's included in the 4K set, but you gave up the song and you gave up a little bit of the end credits and the beginning credits where it shows them flying through the clouds. That's what's changed. Now, on the positive side here, you do get a longer version of the movie with quite a bit more dialogue and kind of talking with the characters. So this is the German cut, and the German cut is 101 minutes. The US theatrical cut that had that Lamal song and the flying through the clouds was only 94 minutes. So this version is actually 7 minutes longer than what we had in the US originally. And the extra dialogue and little extra scenes, I kind of noticed them because I went back and watched the original one just to kind of get a contrast of what was missing between them. And that's when I noticed the song was missing, and the beginning and end credits where it shows them flying through the clouds, those are missing. But those are the only trade-offs. You do get a longer version of the movie with quite a bit more added little scenes and dialogue, so it fleshes out the story a bit more. So you're not giving up much to get something else that you've never gotten. So this is one of those things that even if they release this, let's say in another 5 to 10 years in the US on 4K, I'll still want both editions. So you're not going to be double dipping, because the US edition will not have the German cut because that's exclusive to Constantine Films. So my understanding is they own the rights to that for right now. So that is why this will be the only edition that has the longer, basically German cut with the extra 7 minutes. So if you buy this, it's not like you're not going to be able to get the other one later on in the US if they ever release it. And I don't know, Wolfgang Petersen, because he was a German director, I don't know that they're going to remaster this and release this in 4K in the US. I'd be surprised if they do, because it was way more popular internationally than it was in the US. So I grew up watching it and I liked the film. It's one of those great like fantasy action adventure films that just kind of like has a lot of like mystery, and there is some dark scenes in it. And I'll be honest, after watching it again, I'd kind of forgotten how deep and dark the story really is. I mean, it's truly about a boy that his mom dies and he can't relate to the world anymore. I mean, he can't relate to his dad. He can't relate to kids in school. He's skipping school. He literally is very, very like sad, and I don't blame him. His mom died at a young age. But the story is that basically he reads books to escape from the world, and the book ends up becoming a part of his world, and they're kind of tied together very uniquely. But with the added dialogue and added scenes, one of the scenes where he's talking with the main wolf, the villain in the film, basically fleshes out that, you know, the character that's playing his like basically consciousness realizes that he's scared of death, and he's scared of death coming for him. And that's the whole point of the NeverEnding Stories, is that he's scared death's coming for him like it did his mom. And it's a very kind of dark childhood story, and it's not something I watched with my kids this time, because after I watched it I realized, you know, as kids in the 80s, we kind of had a lot of dark childhood stories. And I don't know if any of you have that, but if you remember any of these dark childhood stories, or if you've seen this, make sure to comment below and let me know if you kind of remember that or know that much about it. Because after watching it as an adult, I kind of realized it's kind of a darker childhood film, but it still had charm to me because I knew that kind of going into it. I just didn't remember how deep of a story and dark of a story it kind of was. Now, before we go into more of this, I got something I want to cover real quick with all of you. Make sure you stick around. We've got a lot of exciting stuff to dive into, the details, my review score, and everything on this. Make sure to stick around. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a like for me. Make sure to give this video a like for me. Let me know you enjoyed this. Make sure to click that subscribe button and the bell notification right next to it. Just like this video, it's exclusive content on my channel you don't want to miss out on. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and click that bell notification. That way, every time I release these, you're one of the first ones to get to know about all of these hidden and exciting releases. And as always, you can follow me on my Instagram or on my Facebook for extra content, extra reviews. I post things about deals and hidden releases that come out, especially if I find out about sales on good 4Ks or Blu Rays. Make sure to follow me on one of those, either my Instagram or Facebook, and it's just the name of the channel, In Search of Physical Media. And also check the community section on this YouTube channel. Once you're subscribed, go and check the community section every once in a while. I post extra things on there as well, little reviews, deals, things like I do on my Instagram as well. So make sure you check that. And as always, I will have all of the links for everything I talk about in every one of these videos listed right below this in the description section right below. There's a little arrow, it pops down. All of these are listed out with all of the links. That way you don't have to go out and search for these. And I appreciate all of your support. Those links help support the channel. And by clicking through that link, it's at no cost to you. And it does help support the channel so I can keep bringing you all of this exciting content. So make sure to go down there to the description section below and click through the link down there if you're going to purchase any of this content. All right, we've got a lot of exciting stuff to dive into this release. Let's dive right back into this. All right, so on this release, I talked a little bit about the film, so you kind of know about that. We're going to dive into the details on this. Now, this is a native 4K 2160p representation on the 4K Ultra HD disc. So it is native 4K. It does have HDR10 on it. Not HDR10 plus, it's HDR10, and it does look pretty darn good in HDR10. Now, the aspect ratio is 2.35.1, which is 16:9, and it looks great. That's the original aspect ratio for the German cut, so they didn't cut anything out. There's no anything edited down on that, and it is the full uncut German cut that was released in the 4K Ultra HD and on the Blu Ray disc. Now, audio-wise, you're going to get English DTS HD High-Res 5.1. And the high-res is the first time I think I've ever seen that or paid attention in seeing that. I'm used to DTS HD Master Audio, and I did a little research on that. I guess high-res is the next step up from DTS HD Master Audio. So it's got a little bit more clarity, a little bit more range behind it is my understanding, and it sounded good. I did not notice anything through the English selection of the audio on here. There's no burned-in subtitles on either of the discs, so there's no subtitles on that. And when I selected the English audio, it didn't even play the German subtitles. I didn't have to turn them off. It just played the English audio just like it was a US released 4K Ultra HD disc or Blu-ray. So there wasn't any of that, which I really appreciated. And the audio was crisp, clear. The special effects in it, like when the rock monster's walking, I mean, it was literally shaking my room. I mean, it had some great depth behind it. There was, like, when glass was breaking, there's scenes in it where there was, like, a window breaking. It was sharp, where I actually had to turn it down a little bit because that high res had some really sharp, like, highs and lows. So I did think the audio was great on it. Now, it does have German audio on it also, which is also the DTS HD High-Res 5.1. Then it has the English DTS HD Master Audio, which is 5.1. So you get two different, basically big English mixes. One's the DTS HD High-Res, which is the best audio option on this. I played both of them, and there was a little bit of difference that I noticed. The High-Res definitely had a little bit more clarity in some scenes, and it's not noticeable to where it's like, wow, a huge difference between that and the HD Master Audio, but there was a slight little bit that I could tell. So if you're going to play it, I suggest the DTS High-Res is the one you play it with. DTS Master Audio did sound good on it as well. Just noticed that the high-res sounded just a tiny bit better. It does have German in the DTS HD Master Audio as well as there's another English mix. It's English Dolby Digital 2.0 and German Dolby Digital 2.0. Tons of audio options. I was really surprised with the amount of audio options they put on this because compared to the other Blu-ray that was released in America, it didn't have nearly that many audio options. Now, subtitle-wise, you only get German subtitles on this. So those of you in the US that want basically the German and English subtitles, you're only going to get German subtitles, so you're going to have to watch it with the English audio or German subtitles with it. Those are your only options. Now, I did talk about both discs being region-free, and that's a big thing because all of your special features that are on your 4K and on your new 4K restoration and remastered Blu-ray, you can watch either of them, pop either disc into anything, and they play just fine. And there's a bunch of special features, and they do play in English audio or German audio with German subtitles, without German subtitles. I didn't notice any of them having anything locked on that side of it. It's got things of making behind the scenes, documentaries, storyboarding the film, behind the scenes video clips, and they did have the Le Mans music video. And that makes no sense. The Le Mans music video is on the Blu-ray, not the 4K, but it's on the special features. So you can watch the Le Mans music video as a special feature, but it's not on the movie. And I guess that's simply, like I said, because it's the German cut. So at least you can pop the Blu-ray in if you want the nostalgia song and play the special feature of the song on there, which I guess is kind of a makeup for that it's not on the thing. And you get the extended cut, so hey, at least you get it. On the 4K, you get a bunch of other special features as well behind the scenes. As far as the discs go, the 4K is a BD66 disc, and the Blu-ray disc is a BD50, so plenty of room. They didn't cram too much content onto either disc, and that is very nice, and the screen quality is beautiful. Now, as I've been going along, as always, I've shown you some screenshots as we've been talking. I've gone through the case and shown you basically what you're going to be looking at when you're watching the film. And it looks good. Compared to the Blu-ray and compared to the previous US Blu-ray, that had a lot of like fuzzy scenes where it was really hard to see. They really didn't do a good job with the remaster on the Blu-rays before this. But the remaster they did on this set for both the Blu-ray and for the 4K release blow out of the water any of the previous 4K or Blu-ray releases before this. So if I'm going to suggest one, even if you own the US release, if you like this film, you need to pick it up on 4K because hands down, Wolfgang Petersen's The NeverEnding Story has never looked as good as it does on this set. And that's why I said even if in 5 or so years they release the US theatrical cut on 4K, you're still going to want to own this because this is a slightly different cut. And I like having the two different cuts because this one did have a lot more dialogue, 7 minutes of dialogue and scenes that did add to the story that I really felt like should have been in the US theatrical release. Don't know why they cut it out. There's some weird reasons why in certain countries certain things are cut out. I mean, in the UK they cut out certain things of violence where the US doesn't and vice versa. I don't know. But it was nice to own this. Now, my review score for this set is going to be an 8.4. And that's a great review score for a 4K. I liked the film. I enjoyed it. No, it's not a 9 and above. And here's why. The reason why I got an 8.4 was simply because I did miss the opening cloud scene. I remember that when I watched the Blu-ray it was in there, and I wish that would have been in there, so I had to ding it a little bit for that. The song, the Le Mans song not being in there, I dinged it a little bit for that because I did like it a part of the film. But the rest of it, an 8.4 is a great score for this release, and I recommend picking it up, especially if you like the NeverEnding Story. You're going to want to add this to your collection because this is the only way to get that international German cut that has the extra 7 minutes. And I recommend watching it for that reason alone. It's a different type of movie. It feels slightly different. And because it is that, I recommend picking this up and supporting this release. This is an exclusive release from Constantine Film. And that's my understanding is they own the rights to this German release right now. Now, price-wise, you're looking between about 30 to 40 bucks is what it's been going for on Amazon when it's been available. It's ranged between 30 to 40 bucks. So it is a more boutique label 4K Ultra HD release. But that's kind of what I talk about a lot of the time is a lot of these releases that you're probably not going to see huge companies out there release because you have to remember the audience for these is not as big as some of those other 80s kids flicks like The Goonies. I mean, not as many people watched The NeverEnding Story or gave it a chance as The Goonies did. That's why the box office was never as big as some of those. But it is another one of those 80s kids movies that it's got a more adult story, a more darker story to it that I mean, once you watch it, you kind of realize that as a kid, we really in the 80s grew up watching a lot of more serious kids movies. And I grew up watching this and my mom rented it for me all the time and I was glad to pick it up and enjoy it again because it looks amazing on 4K. 8.4, great review score. Let me know if you've seen the movie. Let me know if you're going to pick it up. Links down there in the description section below. I'd love to hear from all of you if you've seen this recently. If you've seen the international German cut with the extra 7 minutes, please let me know in the comment section below. Start that conversation down there. Let me know what you think about it if you're going to pick up this 4K release and support it. Because I do think it's one that's worth owning to add to your 4K collection, especially if you want one that you only have the Blu-ray. You get the Blu-ray with the 4K cut as well as the 4K. So you really are future-proof. So even if you don't own a 4K player, you're going to want to add this because you get that full 4K restoration and remaster on that Blu-ray disc. And both are region-free. Let me know if you're excited about this. I'd love to hear from all of you. Make sure to comment down below and let me know all about that. I've had a fun time doing this one. I told you guys and gals this one was coming. I hope you're excited now that I got this review on. And again, this is another review that's only exclusively on my YouTube channel. Make sure to share this video with anybody you know. Share this in some groups. If you're in some 4K groups, make sure to share this video. That way they know about this release. That way they know they can actually own it and buy it and it's region free. So as always, make sure to go down there, give this video a like, a thumbs up for me. Click that subscribe button, the bell notification right next to it. And I hope all of you have a blessed day, and I look forward to doing this again real soon.